Hey boys, welcome back to some more Nrl Supercoach 2022 discussions, and this episode we're going to be talking about the center wing, which is highly competitive. It's a high scoring position. There's a lot of risk reward factors involved, and yeah, with the new rules, with attacking stats being so high, you're seeing. Yeah, I would say in general you're seeing some very, very high scores in the center wing. So we'll delve down into the depths here. There's a lot of options. I'll try not to dally, on too many specific players, especially in the top echelon, because I'll go very straight off the bat here. I'm not going to be spending over. Yeah, I'm not going to be spending over 500k for a center wing. I think it's just there's so much value below that range. So anyone above here, Ruben Garrick is just way too expensive, and I mean I don't know, maybe he continues to score like that, but I honestly don't think he's that good. I don't think he's that good a winger. He's a good goal kicker. He's obviously on the end of a lot of tries last year. Tommy Turbo is a factor for sure, but I can't see him sticking that. I just can't see it happening again. I'm surprised 6% of people are going him. That is a huge risk. Because if he doesn't score massive, like that is 800k in the center wing, and I don't feel like the biggest. And I said I wasn't going to dally on one player too long, but here we go. We've started. But the biggest problem I find with a guy like Garrick is that you can't ever put the captaincy on Garrick. Like you would have to be very ballsy to put the captaincy on a guy like Ruben Garrick. I don't know, maybe the first 5 weeks he comes out and tons up nearly every week, right? And then maybe he is a captaincy option every week. But in general, your top echelon price that you're paying, like a Cleary, Turbo, Grant, Munster, Pappenhausen, Tedesco, those type of guys, for feeder as well, they're captaincy options every week. I feel like Garrick, you're spending this much money on, but I don't think you can put the captaincy on him, because a winger, if he doesn't score tries and the team doesn't go well, he's not going to score. So it's such a huge gamble. That's another little factor, I would say. But out of the top, Brian To'o is the one guy that I'm very keen on, but I'm like I said, I'm not going to be putting him into my starting team. It would just require, well, yeah. I'm trying to talk myself into it, but at the same time, I'm not going to be spending that much on To'o. Again, 13% of people are going him, so a lot of people are putting like the absolute guns in the position, which I don't hate for sure. And like I said, To'o, out of all these guys, he is the top. He is the top. I know Garrick scored over 500 points more than him. He did play 6 more games as well, so the averages are about equal. But To'o, you just know, like he is a captaincy option. He is a guy you could potentially put the captaincy on, even if the Panthers don't score bulk of tries. He can still score 60 plus, and you could be happy. But yeah, I probably will do like a second team and run sort of the opposite of what I'm probably going to do in this team, and do more of like all the top line, starting with all the absolute tops. Well, not Garrick, but I'll start with like Turbo. I'll start with like Grant, Munster. I don't know about Cleary, depending. But I might do that. Because it'll be a good little comparison to see how how it shakes up. Going the top ranges straight off the bat at their peak price, it might give you a really nice lead, even if they don't quite match the outputs. They still could give you a very good lead on the competition who didn't do that. So it'll be interesting to see. Dwayne obviously out. Alex Johnston, Dane Gagai, Mansour, just no-goes. Mansour, like, he's probably not even going to get a wing spot. Dane Gagai, he's coming off like easily his best Supercoach year at a red hot Rabbitohs team, and he's going to the Knights that is not red hot, so no chance. Alex Johnston, I mean, I still think he's going to score some tries down that left-hand side. I mean, Cody Walker can still weave some magic, but yeah, just an absolute no-go to start the season with Johnston. No Mitchell, no Reynolds. We've talked about it a lot before, but I feel like it's just too risky. He can still score well, but Johnston, again, if the Rabbitohs don't quite fire up, like he's a guy that can score like 10 to 20 points. Like his floor is very low. So you would want to be pretty confident the Rabbitohs are going to be very good to start the year to go with him, and I'm not that confident. Going down the list here, Val Holmes. You know, I love Holmes, but it looks like he's not getting that fullback spot. I don't know. I personally, I still think he's the best option for fullback. I don't. Honestly, Todd Payton is bloody worthless. Gotta be honest, dude. We'll see how it shakes up. But if Holmes is not at fullback, if he was at fullback, I mean, very tempting. You know, the Cowboys, I know there's a lot of talk that they're going to finish bottom of the ladder, and I can't really argue that. I hope they don't, but I still think they could score some points. Holmes, goal kicking, you would expect, probably. If he was playing fullback, I'd be tempted for sure. Rapana, nah, not really. Jesse Ramian, Kavalu. Jesse Ramian had a good year, but again, I just feel like there's better value for lower. Ikavalu coming from the Roosters. He's a good Supercoach player. I don't know if he even gets a spot in that Sharks back line. Joey Manu, Daniel Tupou, both very consistent. Honestly, Manu I was half tempted by because I feel like he is just getting better year on year. You know, he's not quite, I don't know, he's a weird one. Like he's the best centre in the game, and then a close second with Justin Olam, but the Supercoach stats, I don't know, he's never really been an absolute gun in Supercoach, just with his work rate. Like the Roosters don't generally overuse him. They give him good ball, but not a lot of ball, I guess. It's more Tedesco and the wingers that get the tries and the try assists, I would say. But I am tempted by Manu. I mean, he's just such a good player, and I do feel like he is getting better and better. So 61 last year. He is undervalued slightly. Adokar at the Bulldogs, absolutely no chance. Absolutely no chance. 5% of people are going him. I'm a little shocked at that as well. Daniel Tupou, he's sort of I was going to say a mini Toto, even though that's, not in physical stature, but sort of Supercoach stature. He does a lot of work. Makes, gets a few tackle busts, scores some tries, but just doesn't quite have that ceiling of a Toto and a couple other guys, but not the worst for sure. Brian Kelly, sort of in the same mold. This is what I'm talking about with the center wings. Like there's so many in this like 400, 500k that can all score. Like they're all averaging like around 60, which is good. It's very solid, but you sort of want to find those cheapies that are going to average that, or the guys that are going to average well ahead of that. You don't want to be paying like 500k for a guy that's averaging 50, 60. Especially at the start of the year anyway, because you're just not going to have enough money to spend that, really. Tessie has got me interested as well. I've got to be honest. It seems like he's going to get that fullback spot, and honestly, he was good last year. He was good in the centres, and the odd time at the end of the season he played fullback, I thought he was pretty good as well. Like he put on a lot of size. He still kept his speed, his agility. Like I think Tessie is going somewhere this year. I think he's in for a pretty good year. I think the Broncos, I'm a Broncos fan, so I'm a little biased. I think the Broncos are going to be pretty solid this year. And I think Tessie is going to, him and Reynolds could have a nice little partnership. But again, it's just a little bit too much. I do like having a fullback in your centre wing. But again, I just think there's some better options for value. Greg Marjou, very, very good Supercoach player. Corey Thompson as well. I'm honestly extremely tempted by Thompson because wow, he was so good last year, up until like middle of the year, even past middle of the season. He was one of the top center wingers. He was just banging out points just at a huge rate, and then he suffered an injury. I think he re-injured it as well, like after he came back after a couple of games, so he didn't quite finish. He finished the season off very poorly, but he was so good. And I mean, I love Thompson. He's just such a good player, dude. Such a good pickup for the Titans. And he's going to get that wing spot again. The Titans, they're an attacking team, a lot of points. So he's on the cusp. I've got to be honest, he is on the cusp, Corey Thompson. Then we get into some more juicy prospects. So Jack Bird at 500k, probably going to be playing lock, maybe. Or I think he's starting in the forwards, maybe his back row or lock. So again, playing a centre wing in your team that's playing in the forward pack, if he plays big minutes, like that's it's very nice. It's very nice because I know I just said you don't want to be paying for guys that are going to get like 50, 60, but a forward that's getting that every week, like that's the problem with the wingers and the centre. I guess at the end of the day, the average is out and it's fine, but a forward is just going to consistently get those scores, whereas a winger, if no tries are coming their way, then they're going to have an absolute stinker of a year. So Jack Bird, tempting, very tempting. Zach Lomax, also very tempting. I think I had him in my first team, and again, he is so underpriced for the player he is. I mean, he is. I don't know. Well, I don't know. It'll be interesting, but I think he's definitely New South Wales potential. I mean, he was last year before he got injured, but if he has a big year, I wouldn't be shocked if he gets a call up as an actual proper centre in that team. And I mean, he's a great goal kicker. Obviously, there's a little bit of issue that the Dragons don't have a fantastic team, but I don't know. I don't mind the Dragons team on paper, and I guess you could say that for the last few years, but I don't know, with no Norman there, I think it's gonna be a decent Dragons team. I don't know. I just have a little feeling about the Dragons that they're gonna be okay. And Zach Lomax, I mean, even when the Dragons have been terrible, he has scored very well. Because I mean, this average and the price, that's taking into account where he got injured like very early on in the game, where he scored like no points, which obviously makes the average go down. So Lomax is always tempting at that price. To go down the list here, Paul Mamaroski is I don't know. I've seen a few podcasts where people are keen on him. I'm not really keen. I don't think he's that good a player. Like, I've seen a few podcasts where they're talking him up as being like he's going to get a potential centre spot, he's going to be goal kicking, and that's lovely if he gets a spot in this Roosters team. But they have a lot of backline players. Like, if they're all fit, I mean, surely it's Sawali and Manu in the centres, and then Tupou, and I don't know, I guess it comes down to who's the last wing spot. But also they had that Billy Smith coming back from injury, who was, I mean, a couple of years ago, he was sort of a bit of a star coming through. So I don't even know if Paul Mamaroski gets a spot. And even if he does, like, I wouldn't be risking Mamaroski in all honesty. He might come out and kill it, but I think they have better options if they're all fit anyway. And I just don't like the lingering possibility that someone's sort of, a couple of games away and then all of a sudden he's out, and you just sort of, you have to trade him out for nothing really, or you don't make any money. So I don't know, I'm not too keen on that. Ewan Aiken, honestly, he's straight in. He's sort of the first, sort of my first option at centre wing after looking through it a bit longer. You know, should be playing in the back row. Scored extremely well when he did last year. He did score a lot of tries, which is a little bit deceiving for sure. It does pad the stats. You know, the average is lower just because he did play. I don't know. He must have played some games in the center as well. But from memory, he scored a lot more points playing in the back row. So he was sort of a guy I was always going to drop in. Nofaluma, oh man, is there a bounce back every year for like as far as I can remember? Nofaluma has been the best center winger in Supercoach, and every year he comes in at too high a price. He's always like, you know, he's always up that like 600, 700k mark at the start of the year, and it's too much. It's too much to spend. You know, no one goes him, and you just don't think he can replicate what he's done. And then he does the same thing. Now, last year, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened with Nofaluma. He hit a wall, I guess. I don't know. It was a strange year for Nofo. He actually played all the games. He played 24 matches, so he wasn't like dropped and out of favour. He just didn't have the same output. I've got to be honest. I want to go him just because I feel like you just never have the chance to go him at the price, and surely he's going to bounce back. I think Nofaluma is still one of, you know, he can still be a Brian Toto-esque player in Supercoach. So I'm tempted. Again, it's a bit expensive. Because again, there's so many other good options, but I love Nofaluma at that price. It's very tempting, I gotta be honest. As we go down the list here, Bradman Best. I mean, God, he burst onto the scene as a rookie and scored extremely well. He's been hampered by injury throughout the next couple of years. Again, he's playing in a Knights team that I don't think are going to have a great season. So I think he can be a Supercoach gun, but I just can't go him. Can't go him this year. Can't go him. Herbie Farnworth, again, I'm tempted by, but again, the price, you know, if I was going another guy like this price, I'd probably rather pay up for Nofaluma, or if we go down here, Tyrell Sloan is also tempting at fullback. He scored very well in his debut at the end of the year last year. Just again, he scored a lot of tries, but he looked good. He looked really good. So again, I'd probably rather Sloan. I'd rather Nofaluma, and then this man, Katoni Staggs. Like, again, as you can see, I'm going with the crowd, dude. 39% of people, which is unsurprising. I mean, he averaged over 60. He obviously only played the 4 games, so he's coming at a discounted price. I'm gonna chuck him in just because I was wanting to go him from the start. Really, I've got to be honest. Like, but Tyrell Sloan, so tempting. Nofaluma, so tempting. I don't know if I can really afford to have another expensive centre wing though. And this is why I wanted to go through the team as it is. So I want to see sort of where I stand. As you go down the list here, anyone else sort of pique the interest a little bit? Kurt Mann, straight in. He's straight in. I think Kurt Mann is going to be very good this year. I mean, it does depend on team list, but I would expect him to get that 13 spot. I think he's very underrated as a player. He cops a lot of flack for some reason. I love him as a player, dude. I think he's very, you know, he's a great utility. He can play nearly every position, and he honestly plays them really well. I think a couple of years ago when he played 5'8" and dummy half was his best year, but he can come. He's a good player. I think he should get that 13 spot, and if he does, like that's easy money. That's easy money, easy points, and I'm pretty happy with that. Beau for more. Is he going to get a second row spot? No. I don't think so. I'll keep an eye on him. Obviously, if he plays in the second row, it's not a bad price for another forward playing in the outside backs for Supercoach. Keep an eye on him. As we go down the list here, Xavier Codes. A lot of people are going Codes. Good God, 35%. I mean, I can't fault it. I mean, he averaged 40 in a weak Broncos team last year. I can't remember how many tries he scored, but you would expect he'll score more at the Storm, and just in general, he'll get more quality footy. So, yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad, but I don't know. Like I wouldn't go Addo-Carr. Like, that's the thing. I wouldn't have gone Addo-Carr at the Storm. Like, I feel like the Storm... Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough one. Because I've never really gone Addo-Carr, and I'd probably consider Addo-Carr a better winger than Xavier Codes. So I'm not really that keen on Codes. He is a nice price, but yeah, I don't know. I'll wait and see for me. I'll wait and see to see how he goes. I think, if you get him and hold on to him, he'll definitely reward you. Like, he'll definitely have a couple of, double and triple try games, I would say. But I don't know. I'm not that keen. As we go down the list here, Sebastian Chris, where's he playing this year? He played quite a bit in the forwards last year. I think it's going to be Tomoko, and Croker's still got that centre spot, even though he's starting to... I think a lot of Raiders fans are starting to want some of these young guys to come in. But Croker probably deserves a spot still. Tomoko, I haven't seen him yet, but I'm very keen on him. But if Chris, I don't know, would he jag a second row spot? Another one to keep an eye on. At 340k, he was pretty good in the second row last year when he played there. I can't think. They have a few. He probably won't. I mean, they've got Hudson Young, they got Harawira Naira, they got Elliot Whitehead, so probably not. But keep an eye on, I guess. As we go down the list here, Cabo is obviously very touted. I like him a lot. It'll be tough to leave out, but I don't know. I'm swaying away from Cabo a little bit because I think Tessie will get the fullback spot. I don't think, and Cabo definitely won't play in the centres, so he'll definitely, like, if he gets a spot, he'll be a wing spot. But I don't even know if he'll get a wing spot. Like, we have some really good outside backs, in my opinion. So it's a tough position to crack, and even still on the wing, I don't think he's going to score that well. Kevin Nagarma, 300k is back. I honestly love Nagarma. He was really, really good. He was a really good player. Where was the last he played? In the Knights? I know he played the Dragons. I think his last... Did he play the Tigers? I can't even remember. I know he played in the Knights. Was the Knights his last stint? Regardless, though, I love Nagarma, and it looks like he might get a wing spot. So very tempting if he does. Very, very tempting. As we go down here, Billy Smith, like I was talking about before, does he jag a spot in that Roosters backline? So Targo, so he again, so he's another one. I'm putting him straight in. I think yeah, he's almost, well, he's not cheapy price, but he's pretty cheap. I think he provides some good upside. He's going to get a starting centre spot, and he's a good player. I think he's going to score very well. He was sort of another guy straight in. As we go down the list here, there's so many centre wing options, man. This is what I like. It's what I like because it can make some different teams for sure. You can really sort of catch up points if you just select the good centre wings. Teleta Amone is very popular. Again, he's probably going to get that starting 5'8" spot, so very tempting. But again, he's 300k. Like, they're not really cheap, so it's difficult. Oliver Gildart, I know 12% are going him. I don't mind it, but I mean, again, another Super League player. he's coming into a poor Tigers team. It's been in the past, like the Super League outside backs just haven't quite been very good. And coming into that Tigers team, I have my doubts. Honestly, I haven't really seen him play at all, so it's a little harsh for me to say, but I think it's a bit of a trap, potentially. Jordan Pereira. So it seems like he is going to get that, what's it called? That wing spot. And I mean, a couple of years ago, he is a potential super coach gun. Like he's that To'o, he's that Nofaluma type, very strong carrier, bumps off tackles. He doesn't usually get that many tries, which has sort of hampered his super coach output, but he is definitely a 50 plus average super coach player if he gets a starting spot. So yeah, very tempted with him. Joseph Sawali, I mean, I'm gonna select him. Surely he's gonna get a spot if he's fit. Like, yeah, I mean, he's a bit of a prodigy coming through. Will Penasini as well, I love. Gonna put him straight in. And then as we go down the list here, Taylor May also tempting if he gets a starting spot. I mean, he got 48. He got 48 in his one appearance, and in a pretty strong Panthers team, it's pretty much a no-brainer. But is there any other cheapie that looks tempting? Tupalotu. He's apparently a really good young player coming through. I think they said that for a couple of years, but he just hasn't quite cracked the grade. But potentially a cheapie on the rise. That's pretty much it. You got Isaiah Tass as well, and Shannon. Why is he so popular? I don't know. Shannon Harris, I don't think he's getting a spot, right? But Isaiah Tass is fairly touted. He might get a spot, but yeah, it's a tough one. I think at the moment I need another cheapie, I think, and I'm just gonna put Taylor May. So let's have a look at what that leaves us. Oh, we are not gonna have enough money. Oh, we're not gonna have enough money. So there's gonna have to be some changes to this team for sure. I was worried about that, and that's the thing. I'm going expensive in the center wing. Having this many players at that 300 plus and a couple at 400 plus, it's not usually the way you want to go. So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. There's just so many options. Honestly, I might drop Stags for. Who was I looking at before? I was keen on Kevin Nagarma. If he gets a starting spot, I could do that. Ewan Aiken. Potentially could just shift him up into second row. Have a cheaper option. So yeah, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Because even you could start with all these, like Sawali, Penasini, Taylor May, and they could score as well as Ewan Aiken, Stags, and Man. That's the thing. That's the thing with the center wing. So I'm going to have to make some decisions there. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the Supercoach action. Make sure to like and comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one.